Hey guys, freeze-dried meals, we've been making them for years. They're great for camping, they're great for prepping, but the one problem is you still need to add water. And I think I finally cracked the code on that. So the problem with any freeze-dried or dehydrated meal is that you have to add water. And water can be cumbersome, it's heavy. Storing it at home or in a bug-out location is really not a big deal. Water is very easy to store, but if you need to bring it with you, a gallon of water is a little over 8 pounds. So water for one person per day, you're looking at a lot of weight to carry around. So most people choose to take a little bit of water with them and bring a filter with them, and hopefully you can run across some water that's clean enough that you can filter and boil to use to rehydrate your meals. But what if you could freeze dry your water? So today we're gonna do a little experiment. I'm gonna freeze dry some water, package it up. We'll weigh it before it's freeze dried. We'll weigh it when I'm done, and we'll find out exactly how much that weighs and how much extra weight you're gonna be adding to your pack. And then we're gonna try to rehydrate that water and then rehydrate a meal and see how it tastes. Well, I know I can fit 6 cups of liquid in each of these trays. I've got 5 trays, so that's 30 cups, so just under 2 gallons of water. So what I'm gonna do is I could either fill these, pre-freeze them, and then move them into the freeze dryer. The freeze dry process would go probably a little bit quicker. But I think what I'm gonna do is just load these into the freeze dryer, pour the water in, fill up the trays right there at the freeze dryer, and that way I'm not trying to slosh around a bunch of trays full of water and spill water all over the place. So we'll head down to the freeze dryer and get that taken care of. All right, I just filled my last tray. So now we just need to close this, start the machine, and we'll wait and see how things turn out. It'll probably be, I'm gonna guess, a couple of days, so I'll see you in a couple days. Well, it took a little over 48 hours, but as you can see, all the trays came out awesome. So the next thing I need to do is get all these emptied into a bowl. I'm gonna get the finish weight, because we know we started with just under 2 gallons at around 8 pounds each. So I'm gonna say probably about 16.5 pounds of water, and we'll see what we have once I have this emptied out. Wow, that turned out a lot better than I thought. It looks like we're at 0 grams. That's gonna be great for backpacking. And now the last thing I want to do is I'm going to get all of this freeze-dried water into the blender. I want to blend it up like we do with most of the things that we freeze dry. That way, after it's reconstituted, I don't end up with chunky water. I want to make sure it's a nice, smooth consistency. Now that it's all blended up, the only thing left to do is get it into our bags. I'm going to use 1 quart Mylar bags. I think 1 quart is a good size to pack out, and that's plenty of water to rehydrate my my meals and make a cup of coffee or use. It's a little easier to use this than a large gallon-sized bag, but I can bring a few of these in a backpack. We already know it doesn't weigh anything, so according to my calculations, I'm going to use 1/4 cup of the powder, if this is even powder. Add that to my bag. Okay. Next, I'm just going to seal these, label them so I know what's inside. I'm not going to add an oxygen absorber because, as we know, water is H2O, and if I use an oxygen absorber, I'll remove the O, and then we'll just be left with H. Okay, and the last test that we're gonna do, I saved the last 1/4 cup of this. I'm just going to Carefully pour that into a quart-sized jar. And we're going to try reconstituting it and seeing how it comes out. I'm going to add, I've got a teapot here of hot water. I'm just going to add 1 quart of water. That should be enough. Put a lid on it, and we're going to let this sit for about 10 to 15 minutes and see if it turns back into good, delicious, drinkable water. Well, it's been about 15 or 20 minutes. Our water should be fully reconstituted. I'm going to give it a shot and we'll see how it tastes.
What are you up to, you crazy person?
Whoops.
I don't know what to do with him sometimes. He can be a handful.
Don't try to freeze dry your water. It's not going to work because it doesn't remove just the O. It removes the H and the O. So you'll be left with a boatload of nothing and a whole lot of waiting for it to do something.
Happy April Fool's Day, everybody. Until next time when we give you a real video, take care.
Cheers.